the Miami real estate market facing uncertainty, or will it continue to do well despite other places across the United States having a challenging time in the market today? I'm Jamey Prezzi. I'm a real estate agent in Miami-Dade and Broward counties, and I'm going to talk to you about this now. Today I'm going to talk to you a bit about the Miami real estate market and what we have seen happen over the last year and what we think will continue to happen going forward in 2024. But first, if this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss another update. We do put out new videos all the time. Also, you can use the link in our information box and download our free guide today or schedule a chat. All right, let's get started. As we head into 2024, I have a lot of questions from our buyers and sellers and also past clients. People who are thinking about buying, they want to know, should they wait? Are the interest rates going to change? People who want to sell are really concerned about the market and what's going on. And there's just a lot of apprehension about our overall real estate market. 2023 was a very weird market, to say the least. It was one of the weirdest markets I've ever seen, and I've been in real estate for almost 18 years now. So it was just weird, it was confusing, and there were just a lot of different dynamics at play. So I want to talk to you a little bit about what happened over the last year. I'll also give you some market information, and I think it's really important if you are thinking about buying or selling real estate in our area, you just have to go really hyper local with the type of product that you're trying to buy or sell and get market data at that very hyper local level. For example, it really depends on if you're buying a property as a primary residence, a second home, or an investment property. Because what those numbers look like for you in terms of buying will be very different in every single scenario. A lot of our buyers who are buying as a primary residence are sick and tired of paying these really high rents, so it makes sense for them to go ahead and buy right now. So everyone's situation is different. Every single market is different, and the end product and how you intend to use that product is very different. So I think before you decide to buy or sell here, you really have to have a deep conversation with us so that we can analyze the market and the type of product that you want to buy and make sure that it makes sense for you now. I will tell you one thing that's very hard to do, and a lot of people like to do this, but I've really rarely ever seen anyone be super successful in doing this, and that is what I like to call timing the market. A lot of people really get into timing the market, and I think sometimes that can really be a catch-22 situation, because over the years, I've seen many people time the market, and I would say rarely are they right, unfortunately. I remember when the market crashed in 2007 and 2008, people were waiting for a lot of this shadow inventory to come on the market, and it never came on the market, and they waited and waited and waited, and by the time they waited a year or two down the road, the prices for those homes that they were looking at had increased exponentially. So I think those types of things you have to be careful with. Also, I think time in the market with regards to the interest rates can be a little bit tricky too. And the reason why is because if you are waiting for the interest rates to change, to go down a little bit, you're going to be competing with other people who are also waiting for the interest rates to go down a little bit. So there's always kind of like that catch-22 situation where if you're waiting, then something else happens. And I always say, realistically, there's never a perfect time to buy or sell. You always have to kind of look at your scenario and make good decisions based on what you need to do right now. The market has been really wonky for many different reasons. Prior to the whole situation in 2020 happening, a lot of people were already migrating to our area. However, that has really increased since that situation that's happened, and also we have a political situation that's happened, and we are seeing a lot of people move and ebb and flow based on some political reasons, based on tax reasons, based on unemployment reasons or employment reasons. And so people are really kind of changing how they live their life, and I think we're seeing a lot of different ebb and flows in terms of migration patterns and how people are choosing to live their lives day in and day out. And that ultimately means where they will end up living day in and day out. So a lot of those situations have changed over the last few years, and we have a huge influx of people still moving to our area, and that leaves us with very low inventory in some types of properties. And that inflow of people creates a demand, and the few homes that are listed on the market, I'm talking more about single family homes, creates a supply and demand issue which drives up the pricing. In addition to that, that is creating a really weird situation for some people who would like to sell their property, but they don't want to sell their property because they want to maybe move somewhere else, but when they go to move somewhere else, they're like, what's going to happen there? My interest rate is going to be higher than what I'm paying now. Probably I'll have a lot more competition in terms of buying a similar home where I want to move. And also the prices have definitely increased over the years everywhere throughout the United States. And so for what they're getting for their money here, it's a challenge for what they want to buy on the other side. And so that is also keeping inventory a bit low, especially with single family homes. Whereas with the condominiums, a lot of those types of products have been purchased over the years as investment properties, maybe second homes, and sometimes just, the vacation type property products. So there are typically a bit more condominiums on the market in our area at any time versus single family homes, just because that's a completely different dynamic and a completely different end product and how people use it day in and day out. All right, so now I'd like to share some market data with you, and this is from our Miami Association of Realtors. The most recent data that I have is from October of 2023. They usually like to get a whole month closed out before they start giving the information so that we can make sure everything's closed out, and then they aggregate the data and then they share it with us so that we can share it with you. The Miami-Dade total home sales decreased from 2022 to 2023 4.4%. That's total single family homes and condominiums. However, if we break it apart and we do single family homes to condominiums, it's 1.5% decrease for single family homes and a 7% decrease for condominiums and townhomes. And I think a lot of this decrease for single family homes was because there just was not inventory available. And in some price points, it was still very important for people to have good interest rates. And since the interest rates went up so high, it changed the affordability of what some people could actually purchase. And so that made some people pause, especially for single family homes. For the dollar volume for single family homes, this is very interesting. It increased 29.4%. And for condos and townhomes, the dollar volume decreased 4%. The total active listings for condominiums and single family homes increased 0.2%. Single family homes is still in a seller's market at 4 months, and condominiums and townhomes have 6.3 months of inventory. Now, if we look at the median home sales price for single family homes, the single family home price increased 7.5% to $618,000. And the condominium and townhomes increased 5.1% to $405,000. Very interesting information from our Miami Association of Realtors. Another thing that Ognjen asked me to point out, Ognjen is my partner and husband, he said, Jamey, I think this is really important for you to share, and this is the amount of cash buyers. So if we look at the number of single family homes that were purchased with cash, 30% of single family homes were sold with cash, and that's a 20% increase from last year. For condominiums, almost 50% were paid in cash, which is nearly the same as the previous year. And this is really important because it points out that our market is still very strong with people who are not overly leveraged and getting a lot of financing that they actually cannot afford. The market is still very healthy because people are paying cash. A lot of people are buying with cash here. And the reason this is important is because in 2007 to 8, we had a market crash, and that was because people were overly leveraged in terms of getting loans and financing, and they just couldn't afford to pay those loans anymore. This is very different now in today's market. And so we always like to point that out because we do have experience with what happened almost 18 years ago. It's really, really important to know that that's not the same. And so I think that can also allow people to feel confident in our market and know that people are actually still buying here with cash. Another really important thing to know is that Florida's thriving job market is outpacing the nation, drawing in big companies and fueling our local real estate market. In October, the Florida Commerce announced that Florida's unemployment rate remains steady at 2.8%, while the national rate climbed to 3.9%. Our market is also shaped by population growth and migration, and more people equals higher demand, which does end up pushing up the pricing, and it also tightens the housing supply. Florida's private sector employment grew by 2.9%, which is faster than the national rate of 2% over the same time period. Florida has outperformed the nation in the private sector job growth, and a lot of big companies are still coming to Miami and relocating here, which is incredible for the growth. I have a few predictions for 2024, and you know me, I always like to say I don't have a crystal ball, but I have a few things just that I keep seeing over and over again, and to me that's kind of a big indicator of what will be to come. I think with regards to what I see for the condominium market in our area, I think a bit more inventory will come on the market, mainly because of the existing people who are living in these buildings and maybe some affordability issues. A lot of these older buildings are undergoing major recertification projects that were passed down because of some recent laws that have been passed because of Surfside and some other legal things that have happened, especially with insurance. I think the monthly maintenance fees will probably go up a bit, mainly because of the insurance issues, because of needing to increase budgets to have more reserves, and also because of ongoing projects. So I think that will force more people to actually sell in some of these older buildings, and so I think we'll see a bit more inventory come on the market from those types of buildings. I also think that with the interest rates going down a bit, if they do continue to go down, that will allow more people who want to sell and have been holding out, that will allow them more confidence to put their property on the market and get it sold actually for top dollar, because those interest rates dropping it's probably going to drive up the demand to buy, which, you know, supply and demand again is a factor. But I think that on the other side, it's going to allow the sellers who've been waiting to sell, and then they'll be able to move on and buy what they wanted to buy a few years ago wherever they're relocating. Maybe they're downsizing here and staying locally, or maybe they're moving to another state. I think it's going to be very, very busy. I think the interest rates and watching the interest rates will be very interesting, and I think it'll be a market that we will end up talking about for a while after 2024 has passed. So there are just a lot of balls up in the air with interest rates, with the building renovations, with insurance, and just a lot of things that are kind of all juggling in the air right now. Things that we have to deal with as real estate agents in order to best guide our buyers and sellers. But I think 2024 will be a lot more of the same, but maybe at a little bit faster pace than 2023 was, because 2023 was a little bit weird. I'll be happy to be done with 2023. So much crazy stuff happened this year. So anyways, we're ready to move on. Hope that you have a great holiday season with you and your loved ones, and we wish you a happy new year. Always, if you have any questions about buying or selling in today's market, we're always here to be a resource for you. My name's Jamey Prezzi. This is my husband, Ognjen Prezzi. You can find us online on Instagram at the Prezzis, and we will see you soon.